Okay, so the police are still at it, and I think I can see pretty clearly what's going on now. So I had to go out. I bought some things at the op shop yesterday, and I found a lot of things that I really wanted, that I was looking at buying on Shane or Shine or whatever it's called. Just some sort of emergency stuff that I could use if I needed to. And I found some things like, I actually found like a sleeping pad and like sleeping bag inners and things like that, and it was really amazing. So I bought quite a few things, and not all emergency things, but yeah, my idea is just to pack up here as much as I can, which is really hard, and I still don't know how much room I've got in storage, but I'm gonna have to get out there somehow and have a look, and it's such a big job just to do that. But I just want to be able to just leave. I've written a brief email to Police Integrity and Conduct, and I forwarded it to the motel manager and my WINS case manager, who's in the housing, she's emergency housing, and okay, so what happened is police knocked on my door this morning and gave me this illegal warning notice. It's just so illegal. It says it's someone called, so it's a constable, and she was one of the 3 units who was participating in my arrest on the 13th of September. She was the one in the cap who was in sight coming in and getting my keys or something like that, so she seemed okay at that time. But it was full on aggression, and so I've got this sign on my door. I talked to the motel manager about how to manage this. She didn't. When I asked her, I said, would you rather I didn't have this sign on my door which was saying police is trespassed, ignorance of the law is no defence under the Crimes Act, that kind of thing. I've made it very clear to multiple addresses that you can't come here. I filed a trespass order, everything. And the thing is that police cannot come here if it's for an unlawful business, or they, being on duty, as I said, being on duty and doing something does not make it lawful. That's just a ridiculous thing to say of that senior sergeant to say to me. That what a ridiculous thing that everything a police does is lawful. It almost makes me think that she thinks that she's just carte blanche to do whatever she wants to with her when she's on duty. It's so fucking scary. And I don't know what's going on here. I really don't know what's going on here. I don't know how. I think the corruption is seated in Papua Nui Police, because it's Papua Nui Police who are receiving work from Harcourts, which I have, better than circumstantial evidence of by a police, that police dispatcher phone call, supporting Harcourts turning off my domestic water supply. And it makes a lot of sense of a lot of things. So they're out to get me, and the thing is that I think at this point, I don't think it's Harcourts using police against me as legal, to legally abuse me. I think this is the police themselves. Doing it on their own behalf. And I don't know when each officer or each unit is deployed. I don't know if they are aware they are participating in a crime against me. I just don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so I rang 10.5 a bit earlier, and I've taken a recording of that phone call because I wanted to get a reference number, because I've had a fake a warning letter before from police, as I've said, and I've got on file with FYI, and I'm probably going to put this on FYI as well. At least it is. I mean, it doesn't. I have to look a bit more closely at the Solicitor General's guidelines, and then there's another one that's a bit more, like it links into the prosecution guidelines, which I think deals with like the criminal part of the Harassment Act, which is part of it, Part 8. So anyway, there's no reference number. I rang 10.5, there was no reference number filed. I said that's very suspicious. She said no, it can take time, they may be called away to other things. And I pointed out, if they've got time to write a fraudulent letter about harassment and serve it on me, I think they've got time to generate a reference number. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's something you do before you print the document, not after. You know, I don't think it's plausible. Like, they didn't rush over to give me a verbal warning. They rushed over to give me a formal warning, and there's really no reason for there not to be a reference number on that. If they're just threatening me giving it a go and not putting it on my police record, you know, that's good in a way, because it's not on my record. Like I don't, because I still don't have a criminal record, but this would mean I have a criminal record. If they do file it and I have a criminal record, it's basically, you know, I mean, the Solicitor General's guidelines do say, you know, like, it leaves room for police to make judgments, but they're not judgments that they can make up. They're judgments within specified you know, elements, like what is the impact on the person who receives the warning, what are their thoughts about the warning, do they agree with the warning, do they agree with this being a warning. And I was under the impression that you couldn't give a warning as an alternative to a charge, because this is accusing me of criminal harassment, and that's something that police are not allowed to do. They're not allowed to do that. So they would only give a warning letter if they've got good reason to think that this is appropriate as an alternative to a charge, which would then be, you know, decided by courts. So these police have no good reason, because they are writing things that are untrue, and they have not given me any evidence. And I've made complaints about Lauren that come fully with evidence, and they've completely ignored me, and then there's a dead bowl phone call. So it's totally clear that police are just out to get me. They're just out to get me, and they will ignore the crimes of anyone else just to fucking get me. That is very, very clear. Now, so it says W. Wilson or Watson, I'm not sure. She hasn't given her badge number. I mean, it's all super dodgy. So it says to Caitlin Fiona McDonald, address 140 Main North Road. And it says Criminal Harassment Act 1997, Section 8. Now that's just the name of the criminal section of the Harassment Act. It's not a name of a document, as in a warning document. So I don't know how a warning document should be set out, but I'm going to do a bit more research. I feel like it's got to say something like official warning or something like that, or formal warning. But it's very much like, you know, the bent cops in Wellington again, just a little bit, I mean, at least it's spelled better. But it says, I'm warning you under the Criminal Harassment Act 1997, Section 8, which is a criminal section, for your behaviour and that you have been acting in the following manner. Multiple emails of abuse towards the complainants during the period July 2023 and September 2023. Towards, and then in brackets, details of complainant/victim, not allowed to call them victims, Donald, Roy, Campbell and Lauren Erica Osborne. Through your actions you have caused this person this person, nice one, guys, to fear for themselves and their family. She doesn't have a family. Her kids are with a rangatamariki, and her dad has blocked her, and her sisters don't want to deal with her. She doesn't have any family. And Don's not her partner. Although I suppose they're going to start pretending. I think Lauren's going to start going along with Don's delusion at this point to make out they're this, terrified couple. Through your actions, you have caused this person to fear for themselves and their family. If you continue with this type of behaviour within a 12-month period against their person or their family, you may be arrested for criminal harassment. The penalty for this offence is on conviction to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years. So there are elements that I think are lawful and there are elements that definitely aren't. So there's no evidence, and there's no evidence because it didn't happen. Now, there was a lot of correspondence, but to call it abuse is to make a judgment that police are not allowed to make. And if they've seen the emails, then they know that it's not abuse, it's trying to get my stuff back. And so this is a fraudulent document. They've either seen the emails and seen they're not emails of abuse, in which case this is committing a very, 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 very serious fraud crime, and it's a fraud crime of police corruption as well, which is very, very, very serious. Or they haven't seen the emails, in which case they have completely failed their duty to follow any procedure. So what frightens me again is not that I've done anything approaching criminal harassment, but that now police have opened the door for me to, next time they're just going to come up with something bullshit that Lauren said I did that I didn't do, and arrest me and then charge me. Now, again, it's not going to get anywhere in court unless court's corrupt as well, but it's the kind of thing that they know, because the harassment, I think, is just simply to make me kill myself. I'm pretty sure that's what it is at this stage, because I've made it very, very clear that I can't keep living like this. And the 10-5 operator said, it's just meant to say that fucking bullshit about talking to mental health nurses. It's like, I just said, and I might post that recording or I might not. I said, unless by mental health nurse you mean human rights lawyer, then no thanks. She kept insisting that I hadn't answered her question, just a yes or no, and I said, I've answered your question. She says, well, I need a yes or no, and I said, well, I declined to answer that question. It's like, I'm sorry, but you can't fob off someone's suicidality because of intensive police harassment. It's enough to get harassment from people who aren't police, but when it's police harassment and there's really nowhere to go but court, which is a whole other, what am I know that I can file charging documents, but I don't know, it's just a whole extra load of work for me to do, because what's going to happen, so the 15 August arrest, which is very well evidenced, occurred, including I've got an email from my pharmacist saying that yes, police had come to someone, she didn't know her name, but yes, police had turned up on that day, and I've got the receipts from my collection, and then the other time they delivered them to the cells on the 13th of September. But yeah, I don't know if IR is the information request place for Privacy Act request and Official Information Act requests. I stopped being replied to by people and I started being replied to by badge numbers. And I don't know, there's no record. They said we've searched thoroughly and we can see no record or an arrest on the 15th of August, and it's like, I gave that person a little bit of a sarcastic kind of hard time, but then it's like, because I just don't know who's involved in this. It's like, what do they hope to achieve by denying it happened? I said in a previous video, well, I guess they hope to achieve just the terrorism in itself. But, if they really want to try and prove to the judge that didn't happen, it's going to be kind of difficult considering it happened in a fucking police station. And I've recorded it, and and I spoke to a duty lawyer, and it's like, oh my god. But it just shows that no one is looking after these little naughty little children running around, arresting people and throwing them in the slammer, and then turning off their intercoms and being total cunts to them, and then trying to, the scary thing, apart from having that arrest erased or never recorded. The next scary thing, as I've said, is the second arrest on the fifth, but the second attempt to get me on breach of bail, which is totally not coming to get me for my court hearing. And no police officer came to get me for it. It was only when the forensics nurse came down from court to check on me and find out why I'd missed my hearing. And because I've been arrested 5 times and I've gone to cells each time, I've only had 2 overnight stays, but I've been in cells each time. I think, well, I've had at least 3 Tallylink hearings with a judge about it. I think it was just a breach of bail. I can't really remember. I'm losing track. I know I really need to keep records, but I'm really fucking scrambled. And police have on record multiple times my medical, psychiatric records. I'm not coping. I'm suicidal. They know I'm suicidal. They've sent so many welfare checks. They know I'm suicidal. I can kind of maybe see the outline of a bit of a plan to say that they're trying to take care of me with the welfare checks, but when you see the content and the manner of the visits, you can see that they are shooting themselves in the foot, because they are really being fucking evil to me. And even if how they were treating me was the way you would treat it, let's say that I was guilty of these things, which I'm not, but even if I was, you cannot treat a human being like that. We have a convention against torture. I didn't realise that. I know that we had signed that convention with the UN. I didn't know that we had actually a law. We've actually got our own parliamentary act against torture. And what police are doing to me is totally torture. Totally. And they're assisting other people to torture me. It's just been one long, horrible fucking torture. And I'm a tough cookie. But I'm not as tough as I seem. Like, I'm broken, I'm malfunctioning, I am crumbling from the inside. I've had a bit of neuroimaging. I haven't had that properly investigated yet. That's something that I've lined up a few GP appointments to finally get through all these things. But the thing is that meanwhile, when I'm just trying to catch up, get back on my feet, get back up on my knees, get my life together the best I can under the circumstances, police come and do this. Now it is pure criminal harassment. So my ring cam captured the first part, but unfortunately it was only 120 seconds, I think, and it showed me saying this is not legal. The Solicitor General said you can't do this, and them just saying basically we don't care, we're serving it on you, and they were just dicks. And it's like, again, like with the Crooks in Wellington, when I thought they'd come up to talk to me about harassment, I thought they were like responding to my harassment complaints because I was being criminally harassed, and then they served harassment notice on me. It's the Darvo thing, which is just business as usual for police, it seems. There are no criminals in prison. I think it's just the victims of criminals. I really do. I mean, I think they get some big flashy ones like murders and stuff to kind of keep up their image of, public service. But really, I think all they're doing is just sort of getting rid of the victims. That's what I think. I've got cider. I think. I didn't really. It's not that I forgot to take my clonazepam. It's just that I haven't set out my meds container yet. But I popped a couple before I went out because I had to go and pick up that stuff from the op shop with my wheelie suitcase, which is pretty much my station in life these days. because I was running late, so I had to do that, and then I just got a little, like, 500 ml of, like, 4.5% cider or something. It's like, I know alcohol is not, it's harmful in the long run, but for acute trauma, it's kind of hard to beat. And, you know, you have to just do what you have to do in the moment to cope, and sometimes you have to pay a little bit of a price for that. I'm really trying to avoid it, but it's like, it's a symptom, not a cause, and yeah, I mean, like, I have a full-on trauma. It's not, my diagnosis of PTSD is not wrong, but it's not comprehensive. It's acute trauma as well, because it's constantly happening. You can't call this PTSD when I'm constantly living in fear. And I thought I'd made it clear enough to police that they really just needed to back off, or bad things are going to happen for them, including my committing suicide with all of their names, you know, in the media. Media have not replied to me because, again, as I've said, they're literally forbidden from reporting on anything that contains suicidality. And in fact, I think that they quite often will call the police or mental health services. Like, they just have to do their thing and whatever, but, you know, clearly police are the ones who are causing the harassment that's making me suicidal. I'm not suicidal, I don't feel suicidal, and that's what I can't stand it when people keep saying, how are you feeling today? It's like, it's got nothing to do with a feeling, it's my fucking escape hatch, you know, it's my cyanide pills. I keep saying suicide is my cyanide pill. You know, it's, when you take a cyanide pill, if you're being tortured or about to become tortured, it's not a mental health problem. It's like, I don't really care to be tortured to death. And these guys are going to torture me to death. And if I don't die by suicide, I'm going to die by probably stroke or heart attack. So they are very seriously endangering my safety. So I wrote a quick email to Police Integrity and Conduct, just to say that I have these multiple criminal complaints against police, but I'm also going to file it as a complaint over the 10.5 portal, really just to get all the evidence on file. Police aren't going to do anything about it, but I keep my records, and and then I'm just going to follow all the usual processes to show that I've done everything I can to get police off my case, or to get police as a body to control its unruly or criminal element. And the thing is that I can ask for information, like, what actions are these people talking about? What multiple emails of abuse? And the thing is, during the period July 2023, on the 31st of July, which was the last day of July, this was not probably this wasn't my first email, this wasn't my first complaint about Lauren, but it was like a phone call that I'd made to 111, because I'd been really getting quite scared of Lauren and Don, and it was more because I know, it's just that Lauren had once told me that she knows some very nasty people that can make, you know, homewards lives very difficult. Like, she says, I know some really, really nasty people, and they'll, you know, homeward will really regret, you know, messing with you. And she wrote a little bit of this in one of the messengers we have, which police will have no excuse to deny seeing, since they had my phone under the Section Surveillance Act for 5 weeks. So police, there's no way, police are stuck in a trap here, and the only way they can escape the trap is if they, well, I suppose if they get rid of me, and I think that's what they're trying to do. Because, yes, I have sent a lot of emails and text messages to Lauren, as I've said to police and to Lauren and Don, when Don threatened me with arrest under the Harassment Act, which I think is quite clear what their intent was, because there was no evidence to support that I'd been harassing them, and I said, you go for gold, and I pasted them a copy of the, a link to the Harassment Act, and I said, because they confuse specified acts as crimes. That's what I think. I think they're both that stupid. Like, a specified act is not a crime, it's just a thing, and sending emails, like sending an email is a specified act. It doesn't make that just because it's listed in the Harassment Act, it doesn't mean it's harassment. It's the circumstances of the harassment, and it's the context and all that kind of stuff. And as I said to them and to police, you don't have a hope in hell of, there's no way you could manipulate any of what I actually did. I mean, you can fabricate evidence, and that may well have been the case. And Lauren certainly lied to the police when she said I'd been coming to her house and bashing on the door saying I'm going to fuck you up, which was when I got arrested, and that's the arrest that's been disappeared. But that's what I think police are going to do again. I think they're just going to come back here and say Lauren said you turned up to her house again and told her you're going to fuck her up. Like, I think it's that's just how they're going to roll. And then I've already been beaten up by police. I've been handled very roughly by police, aside from my own attempt to mortally sort of injure myself, which was just to introduce, basically to contract bacteremia. Like, I have bruises from handcuffs and other bits and pieces, just being handled quite roughly and unnecessarily roughly. I mean, as I said about Bonnie Smith, that was the model arrest. It's not a violent offence. I'm not a violent offender. You don't have to treat someone who's suspected of committing an offence that isn't a violent offence. I've had no history of violence or criminality. I've had a clean slate because that bogus harassment notice that Knight and Gorn tried to fucking make stick in Wellington. I mean, that was just pure intimidation that failed. It's not on my criminal record because it's bonkers. This may be on my criminal record, but it only started on the 4th of July, and it's been a spate of 5 arrests. Now, this was not arrest, but it's similar to that in that I've been accused of a crime. I've been accused of criminal harassment by police, and they are basically saying you have one more chance, and it's like, well, someone else, I know what you're going to do. You're going to make out that I've shirked my last chance and I've gone and harassed them again. They've got no fucking evidence. Sorry, and as I keep trying to say, the only thing that Lauren can do if she wants to, try to get this, get this vendetta against me really going legally, or lawfully, I should say, lawfully legally, is by going to the district court and filing for a restraining order. And as I said, the judge would never give her a restraining order because I haven't done anything that breaches the civil section of the Harassment Act. Because I've got a defence, which is constantly contacting someone to get my fucking stuff back that they've stolen. Now, it's really weird that police are trying to make out that I've offended over July, August and September, these 3 months. Now, 31 September was when I'd already started making overtures to police, just saying I'm getting a bit worried about what's going on here. And I got an official response back from police rather than just a non-report acknowledgement. But all that the note was, all the substance was, is speaks threateningly. And I'm now realising it's just really weird that it didn't say Lauren Osborne, flatmate or whatever, speaks threateningly to the complainant. It just says speaks threateningly. I don't think that police could turn that into an interpretation that I was speaking threateningly, but that was the 31st of fucking July. The next day Lauren locked me out. July I didn't send any emails to Lauren in July, aside from, I didn't send any emails to Lauren in July, except that's not how we communicated. I mean, I might have sent an email, but it would have been purely about just moving into her house, because everything was, she rescued me on the 26th of July. Police are so, the thing is that I feel like I really do have to die for there to be an inquest, and for there to be a proper investigation of police, because I'm not the only one, and and my life is damaged beyond recovery. My brain's damaged beyond recovery. There's no sign of anything, working toward a resolution for me. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. I want to hold on long enough that I can get enough to stick, that someone cannot keep turning a blind eye to what police are doing, and I think it's Papanui Police, but with a bit of help from some moles in Central. Because, as I said, I can't remember what it's called, but it's, that newish, that one, that the unit that was stood up in 2017 for fraud, corruption investigation. There's a couple of, one or two people from there who have been investigated and even charged from that same unit in Christchurch, ISU, I think, where Deb Bowles from. And then September, well, I'm not sure when the last email was that I sent Lauren, but all of the emails that I've sent Lauren in September, I believe, were also to multiple police addresses in the district court. So I'm sort of wondering if maybe the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. I mean, I just don't know. But I am very much in danger now. Firstly, the main source of danger is being taken back to the cells and being disappeared, which I got awfully close to happening. You can see how they're setting this up. And the other thing is that they know I have PTSD, and it's, I could have a stroke because it fucking freaks me out having them being on my door for good reason. And it's not just that it's a reason like, I'm going to think this through and then I will give instructions to my body how to react. It's an autonomic response. And when people tell you to calm down, it's just like, can you stop instructing me to try to control my autonomic processes, please? It's not actually within my power. Would you stop digesting for a while, please? That's basically what it's like saying. Would you stop your cells from, renewing? Please, it's irritating me, it's very noisy. That's what PTSD is. So they're pushing me in real danger. I've been under extreme stress for a very, very long time, and this is not anxiety, this is stress. This is a full body problem, and I have I get the shakes, like I'm cold. I mean, it's all those things that your body does because it thinks, it makes its best judgment about what the threat is, and quite often it thinks maybe you're cold, and so it starts shaking you to get some, warmth going. All the stuff, my mouth goes dry, and hands tingle, and they go, there's all my body's just trying to help me, and it's the best way. It's like, oh, I don't know, I guess I'll try this, because my body doesn't really know what to do with police harassment, and it certainly doesn't know that's what's happening. The man police knocked on my door this morning when I've just got so fucking much to do, and I was feeling quite good because I was getting on top of it, and it's just like my heart started hammering again, and I was like, I forgot my fucking emergency plan, because what I'd done with, and I won't mention her name, but the manager, I'd sort of arranged with her that if police come back, then, because I put that sign on my door saying please go to reception or call reception if no one's attended, and the phone number for reception's on the reception door, and and I've said to police many email addresses lately, if you absolutely need to arrest me, and I might have said visit me or whatever, can you just go through an intermediary, please? And even if I didn't say anything other than arrest, it's like, I'm telling you, I need this to be an intermediary because I can't fucking cope. And I don't have a support person, I'm here alone. And the motel manager is not here to protect me from police harassment. And I feel like I've got to go somewhere where I have witnesses and I have people around I don't think police would be behaving like this if they had witnesses. I don't think they would be doing it, and I need an advocate, and I feel like I've got to go into like a kind of a shared accommodation where, it's almost like I need a halfway house or something like that, but it's really, it's a women's shelter, kind of domestic violence. I shouldn't say women's shelter, men are victims of domestic violence as often as women are, but I really do need a shelter, a victim's shelter, where I can be safe and to feel safe, because I'm not safe from police, I'm not safe from my bodily responses, and my plan, if police come back to arrest me, I'm not coming out of that alive. And because police have no lawful business to be here, if an inquest isn't done, then fuck humanity, I don't give a shit anyway, I'll be gone. Whatever humanity wants to do about this problem, if they don't want to do anything, then I don't fucking give a shit. Once I'm dead, I won't give a shit either. It's funny because what they've written about what I've done to Lauren and Don is what Lauren and Don have done to me, in a not literal way. They've been more sneaky about their abuse of me, but it's literally what police are doing to me. So this letter I could write to police, and I'm going to figure out how to file charging documents. I can't do it today, being a Friday, because I need to get a whole bunch of stuff together. It's like, God, it's like a big deal. I don't know if there's a filing fee, I don't know anything about it, but I've got to get something underway here. I'm not safe, and it's not a mental health problem, and I'm not there yet where I feel that my quality of life is gone, but I have to pull the plug if they come back to arrest me, because I know the next arrest is going to be it's going to be a full criminal cover up. I know that because we've been taking baby steps towards that, and one of those baby steps was scuppered only by chance, only because someone else came and intervened, and that was someone from the court. So I have very good reason to be very afraid of police, and I am going to see, there's quite a nice person at IR. Like, what I need to do as part of the Privacy Act is I've got to see if I can get some details that are logged, that are always flagged by my name, so that they can't help but see, and that means that they can't deny that they see that I'm a suicide risk, which they know because they've attended my house for suicide fucking 20 times. When I say it's once a month, it's way over once a month. It's, yeah. That I've got these health conditions, that I've filed harassment, documents about Lauren, about the assault, about Mitchell. Like, they're not going to take any complaints from me about my safety. And the one that the grudging acknowledgement letter speaks threateningly. It's like, right, well, she couldn't even bring herself to write the name of the person who was speaking threateningly, and didn't even, she did everything she could just to avoid saying that someone was being threatening toward me, and that was Lauren. Lo and behold, here we are now, where Lauren is, with Don leading the charge, not only threatening me with, he said he had an intent to get me arrested for harassment, and this is Don really pushing to get that to happen for his apple-shaped crack whore, his princess. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really expect, obviously everyone who's watching this is not a supporter, but again, it's on the record and YouTube's not taking it down. And Alison Gray, I've muted you, so I don't know if you commenting on my videos or what with your nastiness, but I can't get them. You're muted, so I don't care. Write your heart out. It's my godmother. Sociopaths often hide in apparently devout religion, but she's in Scotland, so and I did report it to Scottish police, and Scottish police said that I had to get New Zealand police to complain to the New Zealand police and get New Zealand police to pass it on to them so they can handle her criminal harassment of me. But New Zealand police, I can't really see that happening. Anyway, I was I've just been bawling my eyes out. And the thing is, you can see in the videos, my response is to be quite impassive. I don't even have to work hard at appearing calm. It's now quite, my thing is about being assertive and calm and just plodding and not leaping to assumptions. But inside is very, very different. And as I say, as soon, I cry a lot at home, but when I go out is when I just start crying. I don't know what that is about. It's not crying out of fear. I don't know what it is. It's just the tears always come when I'm out, and they're basically just rolling down my cheek, and I can't be fucked. It's been a long time since I could really be embarrassed about crying openly in the streets. I can't control it. I don't know what it is. It's not a sense of extra threat or anything. I don't know what it is, but I cry when I go out, and I'm just going to have to somehow get a better diagnosis that just makes more sense, or a better investigation, and I don't know where to get that, but if I can't get any safety, I'm finding my own. And yeah, so if police come back here, my intention is that they're going to have someone who's dead or dying, and then they can try to retrospectively turn it into a welfare check. But I will have ring camera footage which is stored on an offshore server, and I will redirect. I'm setting up a whole lot of tech stuff at the moment. I have 4 cell phones. So anyway, I mean, these videos are more for me than anything else, but they're also a bit of a legacy. I can't control what Facebook keeps up or puts down. I am recording them to other sort of more clunky kind of servers, but I'm going to find, basically I'm going to have to start locking stuff down and making sure that basically, it's like that technology where if a thief steals your, like, Amazon delivery, they open it and it's just like this glitter fucking bomb that comes out, and that's what I want my death to be. It's just a glitter bomb, and glitter gets everywhere, and the cops can go, we weren't near any glitter, and they're covered in glitter.